Honorable Men Discord. Let's talk Kendrick Lamar in this year's Grammys. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get straight to it. I'm not here to talk about all the nominees. I'm not here to talk about all the winners. I'm here to talk about the genre of hip-hop, rap music, and the man who has broken grounds and set a new record. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Kendrick Lamar. And we're going to get into my thoughts on this immediately. And for those of you that's been following my channel, you know I've been rooting for the Clips to take home a Grammy, which they did. They took home one. And I'm going to speak on that as well. But for those of you that are super fans of Kendrick Lamar, you may not like this episode because I'm going to speak my mind, which I always do. And this is my thoughts only. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine, you know. And I'm a fan of Kendrick's music. I am a fan of his music, but I wouldn't consider myself a super fan. Okay, and what I mean by super fan, that goes for any. I'm directing that towards anyone who's so much of a fan of someone that they're biased. All right, my favorite artist, I've said this on a few occasions, is Nas. But I'm not gonna sit here and act as though Nas deserves to have 27 Grammy Awards. I mean, it depends on who you're up against. It depends on the year that your music came out. So many factors come into play. Now, I'm not here to say Nas doesn't deserve 27, but I'm not going to be biased to the fact that, Nas doesn't have 27. But anyway, this is about the 68th Annual Grammy Awards, which took place on Sunday, February 1st. And here's my thoughts, all right? First, let's just get into the facts, right? Kendrick Lamar took home 5 Grammys back-to-back, which they're saying the only artist to ever do something like that in back-to-back years was Stevie Wonder. Now, given that he took home 5 on Sunday, this past Sunday, February 1st, he was able to surpass Jay-Z, who Jay-Z at the time held 25, and I believe Kanye West holds 24. Give me one moment. I just want to be correct. All right. Jay-Z at the time had the most. One moment. All right, so Kanye West has 24. I believe Jay-Z had 25. And I know this may not have anything to do with anything. Drake has 5. Okay, Drake has 5. Kanye West 24. Jay-Z 25. Nas 1. Stevie Wonder 25. All right, so shout out to Kendrick Lamar, his camp. He has 27. My thoughts on this is, boy, do they not like Drake. And I'm not with the band. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. If anything, I'd rather be on the side of people that are hated. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather be on the side of people that are hated. All right. So, for example, Nicki Minaj, the comedian took a shot at Nicki Minaj during the ceremony. And regardless of how you feel about Nicki Minaj, her stance, and she's doubling down, she's tripling down on her alliance with President Trump. And that's her prerogative. But for those people that all of a sudden want to campaign against Nicki Minaj, I'm Team Nicki. I'm team anyone who's the underdog. I'm team anyone who's not just the underdog, because I wouldn't consider Nicki an underdog, but anyone that's being vilified, anyone who it seems as though they're being publicly bullied because they don't agree with the masses, I'm with those people. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. Okay, so as far as the jokes going towards Nicki, whatever, he's a comedian. Trevor Noah, he's a comedian, intelligent brother, but I'm not with that. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. That's just the nature of the business. So I'm not faulting him for choosing to just find material to make the crowd laugh. But I'm not gonna go against Nicki Minaj because of what she decides to or who she decides to align herself with. So I just wanted to mention that since we're talking about the Grammys. So Kendrick has 27 now, and he surpassed Stevie Wonder. Now I know it's a different time. These are different times. So there's a lot of factors. Again, it always goes based on who is he competing against in each category. I personally find it hard to believe that Kendrick Lamar has 27 Grammys and Stevie Wonder he passed Stevie Wonder. All right, Stevie Wonder is my favorite male vocalist. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that on this channel, but it's one of those things where it's baffling. He's a good artist. I think he's a good artist. Some may say he's a great artist. I just think that to get 10 in back-to-back years, it's an amazing accomplishment, and this is just my opinion. I just don't understand how. Now, if you guys don't know this, he picked up 5 in last year's Grammys, right? He picked up 5 in last year's Grammys, and he didn't put an album out in 2025. He just put out the single. Okay? He just put out a single. And I'm saying to myself, how do you get 5 and all you did was put out the single? Because it was really not like us that really built up that momentum. Yes, he put out other records because we know the back and forth with Drake. He put out a couple of records and so did Drake. But to think you got 5 Grammys and you had no album in 2025. As a matter of fact, his last album was 2022. That was Mr. Morales. All right? The Mr. Morales album. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That was 2022. So he hadn't put out an album in about 3 years. Up until the G and X, right? So the G and X came out in 2024, which is strange. That came out in 2024. That's strange. All right, well, listen. So he put out Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers in 2022. He put out GNX 2024. But, at the time when he got the 5 Grammys, he didn't have anything. I don't even believe GNX was out yet. All right? I don't even believe GNX was out when, because GNX came out after the Not Like Us, if I'm not mistaken. But anyhow, he did a back-to-back 5 Grammy wins, and I just look at this as like, on one hand, it's like, congratulations to him. On the other hand, I'm like, the industry just doesn't make any sense. The committees don't make any sense. There's no way. I don't care how anybody feels about Drake. And again, I'm with the underdogs. I'm with the ones that's hated. I'm standing on the side of those that's hated. I don't ever want to stand in the side with where everybody's at. They can keep that. The whoever's popular and whoever everyone's gravitating to, I don't even stand next to those people. I want to stand next to the people because I identify with the ones that's hated on. So I'm gonna say this as clearly as possible. There's no way you're telling me Drake, I don't care whether or not he has songwriters or not, you're not telling me Drake only has 5 Grammys and then Kendrick within the last the last 2 years just sweeps 10. And he's imagine Drake had no Grammys at all. And he just started getting them now. And he had 5 in the last Grammys and then 5 in this year's Grammys to take 10, he automatically passed Drake. Automatically passed Drake. That's bonkers to me. It's bonkers. All right? Considering the airplay and everything that Drake had throughout his career and the long stretch, the long run, the features. All right? And then on top of that, all right, so Kanye West has a substantial amount of Grammys, so it's fitting. So I can't really say much about Kanye West, but as an artist, I don't even think Kendrick is better than Kanye West. And by all means, I'm saying the things I'm saying because I expect people to come in the comments and debate me on this. Is Kendrick a better artist than Kanye West? And I know you know some of you are gonna jump in. Well, 27 Grammy says he is. Listen, I don't care about the hardware at this point because I think it's tainted. That's why I'm having this discussion. And again, I do appreciate Kendrick Lamar's music, but you know, there's other artists out there that I don't see him as better than Kanye West to be at 27. I don't see it. Now, Kanye West, outside of the music, has done things that probably put a stain on his name, and which is why he slowed up. But am I missing something here? Am I missing something here? And by all means, listen, debate me in the comments section. Maybe Kendrick really is that guy, and I'm overlooking certain things. Now, the record Luther, I want to get into that. The record Luther was a great vibe. I really enjoyed that record, so I could understand how it won, right? I could understand how it won, but this is going to a few things that's listed here, right? So you have, all right, he surpassed Jay-Z, got that. It says the Big 3-4. He secured his third nomination for the Big 3 record, album, song of the year. GNX. I skimmed through the GNX album, right? Just to hear the feel immediately. Obviously, it was some type of interludes going on with the I think the Mexican singer, female singer. Don't know her name. Forgive me for that. So she was on the album maybe 2 to 3 times. I heard her throughout the album, and the album, it's cool. It has a vibe. He does a good job of having a vibe. So the album has a vibe, right? It has a cohesiveness to it. All right, I give him that. But I'm gonna stand on the clips, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stand with the clips. Actually, I'm not sorry. I stand with the clips when it comes to the album. Like, was it because they weren't on a big major label? That's another thing. It might be the politics of it too. Might be the politics of it too. Those of you watching this video, please tell me that you honestly believe GNX was better than the Clips album. And I don't want to know about anybody else that was in the nominations for that. All right, so don't tell me about Tyler. I'm here to talk about Kendrick since he's the one who is setting records and he's at 27. So let's stick with Kendrick for now, all right? When we're talking about GNX versus the Clips album, let God sort them out. I want to hear from those of you that believe GNX was a better project than the Clips album. For those of you that believe that GNX was a better project than the Clips album, let me know. Let me know why. Let me know what records I'm missing. Because if we're gonna go song for song as the album goes down, track for track, let me see how many tracks is on GNX. GNX has 12, so you can't really go track for because I think the Clips album has more. Let me go to whoop. I don't want that to play. So you got 12 tracks versus, okay, Let God Sort 'Em Out has 13. So what I would do for that is let's just disregard the last record, which is By the Grace of God, right? Are you going to tell me song for song GNX is a better album? Forget about your emotions as far as I'm a Kendrick fan or I'm a Clips fan. We're talking about sonically. We're talking about what's being said. Are you telling me GNX you had a stronger takeaway listening to GNX over the Clips album? Is that what we're saying? I mean, I know what the Grammys are saying. I know what the committee is saying. We know they made their decision. But I don't think so. I don't think that's a better project over the Clips album. I just don't think it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised the Clips didn't at least take two. At least take two. So they give the Clips one, and I'm gonna say this about to the Clips. For the Clips, it's a victory for a number of reasons. It's a victory because of their age. To be able to say, look, at this age, to put out that level, that quality music, and we snatched a Grammy late in the game, it's a win for them. It's a win for them for that reason, because of their age. It's a win for them because it was the return of Malice with his brother. So that's a win, knowing that, the first return back, and look, we snagged one, So that's a win. It's also a win because they did it their way. They did it pretty much independent, right? Pretty much they had the Rock Nation distribution, but they put it underneath their own brand. You see it, it's listed on iTunes. It just says Clips, all right? No major label, all right? No major label, unlike GNX, who is backed by Interscope Records, right? You got the PG Lang under exclusive license to Interscope Records. So he still has that big engine, right? And so for that reason, it's a win. The thing that personally bothers me, and by all means chime in if you will, the thing about this that bothers me about the Clips getting that one Grammy is the song that they got it for is featuring Kendrick. So it's almost like, oh, really? We can't enjoy a win on our own? Chains and Whips is a great record. It's a great record, right? But they get a Grammy for Chains and Whips, a video where Kendrick wasn't available for whatever reason. He probably had a good reason. I'm not trying to say he intentionally dubbed the Clips, but he wasn't even in the video, all right? And to think, if any of you had followed the Clips, you knew that this record was leaked. A snippet of this record was leaked, I want to say, during one of the years where there was a fashion show and the Clips were walking the runway, and they gave a little sample of the track. That track, Chains and Whips, initially did not have any feature on it. It was just the two brothers. It wasn't until late in the rollout where they were getting to wrap the album, they said, you know what, we need a Kendrick feature. That's what they wanted to work with him for whatever reason, obviously because he's a great artist. But did they need Kendrick on that song? I'd like to hear from all of you watching this episode. Did they need Kendrick on Chains and Whips? I think Chains and Whips would have still did its thing. Now, would it have gotten a Grammy? Probably not. I think, again, because they're not behind a major engine. They're putting stuff out on their own, right? They decided to take ownership of their music and their brand. And so when you do that, there's politics in this stuff. You could say there's no politics in the music industry, but you're seeing it right now. Again, you got Kendrick with 27 Grammys. Not to say he's a trash artist, because he's not. I'll never say he's a trash artist. He's a good artist, great artist. But you see the Clips got their first Grammy, and it's attached to Kendrick because Kendrick's featured on the song, right? And so it's like they get a Grammy and he got a Grammy too, because it's like he's a part of the record. So it almost makes you wonder. It kind of, to me, it would taint my victory a little bit, because I'm saying in the back of my mind, did I get this because Kendrick was on it? Or did I get it because they really believe and they really value the record that I put out? Or is it because Kendrick is sizzling hot, and because of Kendrick? Now, I don't even know if that bothers the Clips. But me as an artist, I'd want to know that my music is valued when I stand on my own, as well as when I stand with featured artists. I would still, as an artist and as a songwriter, would want to receive a Grammy for work that I've done by myself. That's just me. I can't speak for other artists. And those of you who are watching this episode that are artists, let me know how you feel about that. Does it matter to you, or it doesn't matter? For me, I would still want one where I could say I did that on my own, because I would never want someone down the line to try to say, oh, well, you got it because Kendrick was on it. It would make me feel some kind of way as an artist, because we're very prideful and we're very passionate about our art. Now, if we're not, If I'm speaking incorrectly about us as artists, let me know in the comment section. But so yeah, for the Clips, it's I would say sort of bittersweet. And I'm saying that obviously as an outsider. I don't know how the brothers feel about their Grammy and Kendrick being associated with that particular win. I wanted to see them win it for the song that they did, "Birds Don't Sing," the tribute to their parents. I would have loved to see that more than anything over this one. Even though that was the record that people resonated with, Chains and Whips, I would have preferred seeing them win for "Birds Don't Sing." But let's continue. So he won with the record Luther. Oh, this is what I wanted to say about Luther. Here's the little issue that I have with Luther. You sampled Luther Vandross, which I saw the ceremony where they were elated and honored to be able to have had that record cleared and to be able to win in Luther's honor. Records like that, when you sample a major artist, it's not a guaranteed win, but it's almost like the carpet is already rolled out for you. Doesn't mean you're going to get a Grammy. I'm not saying it means you're going to get a Grammy, but going into records like that, when you're sampling one of the greats, a Michael Jackson, a Prince, a Luther, you name it, a Sam Cooke, a James Brown, it's like a carpet is rolled out because it's going to catch the ears of listeners because they're like, wow, I resonate with that song resonates with me for whatever reason. And then if you're an artist that have half-ass skills and you're able to do what's right on that particular record, it's out of here. So it's almost like a cheat code. Again, if you disagree with me, I'll see you in the comments. I feel like it's sort of like a cheat code. So again, when we're talking about the projects, right, this is why I stand with the Clips, right? Because they didn't have anything like that, at least noticeable to the ear. I didn't hear anything on the Clips album that sounded like they sampled from a major artist. It was like raw. It was Virginia to its purest form. You got Pharrell in there cooking up, multitasking, managing his affairs with Louis Vuitton and working with his brothers from the Clips. And it's a masterpiece in my opinion. I stand on it. And you can say, oh, you just talking because you're old head, so you're gonna resonate with them. Kendrick represents the new or somewhat new because Kendrick is getting up in age. I don't consider him the new artist, but the Clips everything was from scratch, pretty much. Now, all right, they did sample on they did do a heavy sample on let me be correct with this song. Hold on 1 minute. They did sample heavy on "So Be It." All right, we know they took that from, I believe it's an Indian artist, but it's not the same thing as sampling from Luther Vandross. All right, so like when you give someone 5 Grammys and you really, that Luther record, let's be honest, the Luther record is what put him in position, to really win the amount of Grammys he received. And again, I say to all of you watching, it's like a cheat code. You sampled Luther Vandross, all right? You sampled Luther Vandross, and because he's a talented artist, and then you throw SZA with her melodic flow, and then the back and forth, it's gonna win with the women because women love songs they could sing to. It's a win-win. You already have Luther, who is a phenomenal artist, right? Then you throw SZA to help with the melodic stuff. This is why he was able to snatch up Best Melodic Rap Performance. You see that here in the last bullet point. All right, Best Melodic Rap Performance. Yeah, of course. That's a no-brainer. Even the video was excellent. I give it to him. The video was great. So Best Melodic Rap Performance, Luther, that's a no-brainer, right? Best Rap Song, TV, or, Best Rap Performance. First of all, these categories are very confusing to me. If it's not confusing to you, those of you that's watching, please break this down to me. The categories are like all over the place. It really is all over the place. And as I was going through the website, it's even more confusing. All right. First of all, this website, I'm telling you right now, if you go to the Grammy Awards website, you're going to be scrolling for days, because if you could see the scroll button in the corner of my screen, right? You see that little scroll, the tab? it goes down. It goes far down. I didn't realize so many people were involved in this award ceremony. Obviously, I don't think all of them made it to the TV recording, but there's a lot going on here. So, record of the year, Luther, and I'll give it to him. He beat out Anxiety, which I feel like I heard Anxiety so much it gave me anxiety. All right, I think I've heard Anxiety more, whether it be on TikTok, Instagram. I don't listen to the radio much, so I heard more Anxiety than I heard Luther. And I like, I actually like Luther as a record, but Anxiety was all over the place. I mean, the engine behind Anxiety, which is the same engine behind Luther and Kendrick Lamar, that's TDE, if I'm not mistaken. Doechii is with TDE. And let me just make sure I'm correct about that before I say anything incorrect. Right, but for him to beat Anxiety, I don't know about these other records. Again, I don't listen to the radio, and so I don't catch a lot of these records. Most of the stuff that I catch through social media. But the fact that he beat out Anxiety was impressive. It's either impressive or it's just his season, and they're just making sure they keep throwing him awards. All right, that's just my opinion on this. Album of the year, Bad Bunny got it. I can't even be mad at that because it's Bad Bunny. This guy is a machine to be, he's a machine. The Latin community love him, and he's gonna continue to be a mega success, not just a regular success, a mega success. So like, if you're going up against a Bad Bunny record, good luck. And if actually Bad Bunny was in that category, so for Luther to win record of the year over a Bad Bunny song, DTMF, I don't even know how he pulled that off. I would need you guys in the comments to let me know how he pulled that off. Forget about him beating out his colleague Doechii. All right, he beat Bad Bunny. How did he pull that off? All right, but he did. All right, but then Bad Bunny came back and said, I'm taking album of the year. He took it. I can't even pronounce that title. That's Diebe Tarar Mas Fotos. All right. And Bad Bunny beat out Tyler the Creator, Leon Thomas, who's a extremely talented artist. He beat out Kendrick, Lady Gaga. He beat out Lady Gaga. But he beat out Lady Gaga. That's a big name, and I don't know how good that song Mayhem is. Obviously, that matters. He beat out the Clips for Let God Sort Them Out. I'll be honest with you, that was a long shot for them to get album of the year. Because now I'm realizing album of the year is not best. It's not rap album of the year. It's album of the year, period. So yeah, Let God Sort Them Out was not going to win that. As much as I love that album, it just wasn't going to win against these other huge names. Justin Bieber. I don't know who Sabrina Carpenter is. I just don't know who she is. I don't know everybody. Actually, she's the only one I don't know of. I know of Lady Gaga, Kendrick Lamar, Leon Thomas, Tyler the Creator, and Justin Bieber. So, but then they all lost to Bad Bunny, which I can't be mad at that. That's Bad Bunny. I mean, he's just that guy where, if you're in a category with him, good luck, but don't expect much. All right, Song of the Year. We have Wildflower won, Billie Eilish. All right, now I don't know too much about her, but I know she's a songwriter, and I know she's another one that I think it's safe to say she could be considered a megastar in her own right. Now, she beat out Bad Bunny, so right, so that says enough. She beat Luther record with Wildflower. So, listen, best new artist. This category, the only person I know in this category is Leon Thomas. So I'm not going to, assume he got snubbed because I don't know anything about the others. And this list goes on, and I'm not going to go through this entire list because, again, this thing goes far. This is like a long scroll if you choose to do so. Let me just go to the familiar names that I know. Listen, what is your thoughts on the Grammys? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the comedy by Trevor Noah? Did you enjoy the performances? I saw, the tribute to D'Angelo with Lauryn Hill orchestrating all the acts and all the artists that came out. I thought it was cool. I think honestly, out of everybody that came out, Bilal, Bilal's that guy. If you don't know who he is, listen. As an artist myself, if I had an opportunity to have Bilal featured on a song, I would jump at it right away. That guy could sing his ass off. Put some respect on Bilal's name. I don't know if he ever was able to get his hands on a Grammy, but this is what I'm telling you. Like, sometimes the hardware doesn't mean anything, because when we talking pound for pound performing, Bilal could stand next to the best of them, and I mean the best of them. He could stand next to the Anthony Hamiltons. Anthony Hamilton was up on the stage with Lauryn Hill, but let me tell you right now, don't sleep on Bilal. Do not sleep on Bilal. That guy's the truth. Let me keep going through this. Folded, she got it, which makes sense. Makes sense. Best R&B performance, makes sense. Absolutely. She deserved that one. She beat Summer Walker, Leon Thomas, Chris Brown. That's a big feat for her. Featuring Bryson Tiller. That's a big. She gets to say, when I got my Grammy, I beat out Chris Brown. You know, Justin Bieber. She beat out some top dogs. And I'm gonna say this. I hope she's not a one-hit wonder. I don't know too much about her catalog. But she beat, and even if she is, she still gets it. As she gets older, she can tell her grandchildren, her children, listen, I beat out Chris Brown and Justin Bieber. But if no one else, she just has to say, I beat out Chris Brown to get that. It Depends record. I don't even know how that sounds. I don't think I ever caught that one. But Mutt was a great record. I thought it was a cool record, right? She beat that out. But her record, rightfully so. Another record, much like Anxiety, that I'm constantly, at one point in time, I was constantly coming across that record on social media. People doing all types of skits to it. When you're fortunate to have your song in the hands of the fans and the everyday people making skits to your music, that's a good thing. That's a win too, regardless if you get the Grammy or not. Just to have people doing performances and skits to your music, that's a wonderful thing as an artist. It feels good to know that people are rocking out to your music, even if they're making little, comical skits. Best traditional R&B performance, Leon Thomas got that. Salute to him. He's a talented brother. And he beat out SZA, Ladisi, Lala Hathaway. Don't know who these people are. Respectfully, don't know who these people are. Best R&B song, Folded. All right. The nominees, they don't even have the nominees faces on this one. Wow. Bilal was in a Bilal was in a category and he lost. What was that for? 1 second. 1 second. All right, I don't know what happened, but okay, that was for best progressive R&B album. Okay, Leon Thomas, best R&B album. What? Wow, he beat out Tiana Taylor, Ladisi, Coco Jones. Yeah, come on. Yeah, that's all Leon. You want some quality R&B? Listen to Leon Thomas. Let's go on. And then, of course, what I mentioned already, Chains and Whips beat out TV Off, Anxiety, Outside Cardi B, and Darling I, Tyler the Creator. Luther beat out Jid, Terrace Martin, Party Next Door, and Drake, and Friday. So, best rap song, it says TD Off, and I guess it's producer credit, because the gentleman in the photo, I looked him up. I'm like, who is this guy? Right? Let me click on him real quick. Jack Antonoff. And let me tell you something, for those of you watching this episode, you want to be a Jack Antonoff. You want to be that guy who no one who knows who you are, so you can just roam around through society without people harassing you. but yet you have all the accolades, all the awards. Look, Jack Antonoff, don't know who this man is respectfully. He has 11 wins. He has 11 Grammys under his belt. He was nominated 37 times. So clearly he's a producer. Maybe he's the one who produced the Luther record. I'm just assuming that. But whatever his involvement was on the Luther record, just know this man holds 11 wins. 11 wins. So he holds 11 wins. And I have to say this. He holds 11 wins, meaning he has more Grammys than Nas. He has more Grammys than Drake. Just keep that in mind. So for those of you that are artists that are watching this, just know you could be super successful. You could live the lifestyle you want to live, and you don't have to give up your privacy by being a celebrity, unless that's exactly what you want to be, unless you like being in the limelight. But me personally, I'll be honest with you, I'd rather be a Jack Antonoff. I'd rather have the money, have my peace of mind, roam the street. People don't know who I am. I could walk around with beat up sneakers with, and people think, oh, this guy has no money. Yeah, think what you want, That's exactly how exactly how I'd want to be positioned in the music industry, to be honest with you. But that's Jack Antonoff. Let's get back to oh, I think I lost that. I was going to get back to the Grammy page, but we get the point. Kendrick Lamar, 27 Grammys. What's your thoughts on that? He surpassed Jay-Z. He did it in record time also. They said he did it in about 15 years to pass Jay-Z, which is record time over Jay-Z. And he's the first to back-to-back 5, like Stevie Wonder. Although I don't think Kendrick Lamar's name should be mentioned alongside Stevie Wonder. And I'm going to stand on that. I mean, we're talking Stevie Wonder, man. Stevie Wonder is like, you should have permission to even mention the name Stevie Wonder. All right, let me go into, I was going to go into his previous 5, but no need to do that. You see someone here on X, this is what he said. This is The Investigator. He said, bro just be handed Grammys that he didn't even deserve. I'm not going to say he didn't deserve winning Grammys. It's just the amount of Grammys I question. And I question it respectfully. The amount. What's your thoughts? That's my thoughts on all this. Did any of you watch the Grammys? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the commentary from Trevor Noah? What did you think about Trevor Noah's joke towards Nicki Minaj? Do you think it's deserving? Do you think they're giving Nicki too much attention? And what's your thoughts on the Clips? What's your thoughts on the Clips winning that 1 Grammy and winning it for a song featuring Kendrick Lamar? I'd like to know your thoughts on that. And any other thoughts any other questions or thoughts that I didn't bring up, I'd like to hear from you all in the comments, because this is an interesting subject. This Grammys, it says a lot about the music industry, and I'd like to know your thoughts on this. But that's all I have on this episode. As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend and tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, stay honorable.